And welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to another weekend review, reviewing all of this week's Premier League and Championship action. We're going to start off in the Premier League on Friday night, where it finished Southampton 1, Aston Villa 0, Adam Armstrong with the only goal of the game early on. And yeah, this was a really solid performance from Southampton, a game of two halves, Southampton dominating the first, Villa on top in the second. But yeah, it went Southampton's way, a great win for them, but it did mark the end of Dean Smith's time at Villa. You have to say it has kind of been coming, they haven't been great this season. But moving on, Manchester United 0, Man City 2 was the score at Old Trafford. 2 goals came in the first half. One was an own goal through Eric Bailly, the other was a Bernardo Silva goal. And yeah, that was enough for City to get the win. United, they were just really poor here, outclassed, outplayed, out everything really by Man City. But yeah, a great result for City. With their title rivals slipping up, this was a big result for them. But for Man United, so disappointing. For me, Ollie has to go this break. Moving on, Crystal Palace 2, Wolves 0 was the score at Selhurst Park. 2 goals coming in the second half through Zaha and Gallagher. And yeah, once again, great for Palace. Beating an informal Wolves side, and they look really good here. I'm so excited about what they can do this season. They're on a great run of form now. As for Wolves, it's disappointing because they were on a good run of form, but you know, it's still no crisis by any means. Still on a great run, and I still think they're going to be in for a very decent season after the break under Bruno Lage. Moving on then to probably one of the shocking results this weekend, where it finished Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. What a great point for Burnley. Kai Havertz put Chelsea in front in the 33rd minute, and you thought it would be simple from then on, but it wasn't to be. Matty Vidra equalised in the 79th minute, and yeah, Burnley held on for a point. Great result for them. Chelsea, though, they'll regret not taking their chances. 25 goal attempts for them, and only 4 on target, so not really good enough, but fantastic for Burnley, outstanding, and that's a great point. But moving on, it finished Brentford 1, Norwich 2 at the Brentford Community Stadium. Norwich got off to a flying start through goals from Norman and Pukki. Brentford pulled one back in the 60th minute through Henry. They also had a goal disallowed in the 50th minute through Bueno. But yeah, great win for Norwich, finally gets them off the mark. But they sacked Daniel Farke. Now I can only assume the decision has been made before this game, but it still did seem like a strange one. We hadn't seen the case in the Championship as well. But yeah, it did seem like a strange decision. But yeah, I kind of feel like it has a decision they had to make. But moving on, it finished Brighton 1, Newcastle 1 in the Premier League in the evening game on Saturday. Trossard with a goal in the 24th minute put Brighton in front, and then Hayden scored for Newcastle in the 66th minute. Sanchez was then sent off in the 92nd minute for Brighton. For me, I'm not sure if it was a red, to be honest. It looked like he was going away from goal, but Lewis Dunk went in, and Newcastle didn't even have a shot on target. To be honest, that's so disappointing. Really expected more from that. I think both teams were mildly disappointed. But moving on, Leeds 1, Leicester 1 was the score at Ellen Road on Sunday. Rafinha scored in the 26th minute. However, Harley Barnes equalised just 2 minutes later for Leicester. Lookman had a goal disallowed through VAR in the 67th minute. But except for that, yeah, a draw was the scoreline. And to be honest, there wasn't a lot between two sides. I'd probably say Leeds slightly edged it. So for Leicester, I'll probably take a point. But yeah, not a brilliant game. But moving on, it finished Everton 0, Tottenham 0 at Goodison Park. And yeah, to be honest, this was a really disappointing performance from Tottenham in their first Premier League game under Antonio Conte. They were outclassed by Everton here. Mason Holgate got sent off in the 92nd minute, but on the whole it was really poor from Tottenham, and I think Conte's really seeing how much work he has to do there. But as for Everton, they've been on a bit of a sticky patch recently, so I think they'll probably welcome this result, especially with a new manager bound supposedly for Tottenham. Moving on, Arsenal 1, Watford 0 was the score at the Emirates on Sunday. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang missed a penalty in the 36th minute. Yeah, great save by Ben Foster. It wasn't even a bad penalty, I don't think. Before Smith Rowe finally broke the deadlock in the 56th minute. Kuka got sent off for Watford in the 89th minute, but Arsenal held on. And yeah, I'm so glad it finally looks like it's starting to click for Mikel Arteta. He just needs that time, and he's showing what he can do now. Just 6 points off the top. Title charge, question mark. But moving on, it finished West Ham 3, Liverpool 2 in a really entertaining Sunday evening game. Alisson with an own goal in the 4th minute, really bad mistake from him, before Trent Alexander scored in the 41st minute. Just a beautiful goal, but West Ham soon took the lead through Fornals and Zuma. Origi pulled one back, made it a little nervous last few minutes, but West Ham held on, and yeah, that is a statement win. Liverpool probably had the majority of the play, but you'd expect that. But for West Ham, just what an incredible result. Moving on then to the Championship now, we're going to start off at Oakwell, where it finished Barnsley 0, Hull 2. George Homan and Keane Lewis-Potter with the goals, and yeah, huge result for Hull. They really needed that, just as a massive lift up for the club after the poor run of form. But as for Barnsley, I really thought they were going to turn the corner. Now Scott's gone. Maybe this temporary manager, if he won this game, he might get the job full time. But I would say that's significantly slightly now. But let's see what happens over the break. But moving on, it finished Blackburn 3, Sheffield United 1 at Ewood Park. Ryan Brewster with a goal in the second minute. Finally, he scored for them. Hopefully, he can kick off now. But I don't know. I just don't know with this Sheffield United team. But Canberra, Brereton Diaz, that man again, and pervaded with the goals for Blackburn. Made it 3-1, and once again Sheffield United just not clicking. But as for Blackburn, yeah, it's the perfect recovery after that 7-0 defeat from Fulham. But moving on, it finished Bournemouth 4, Swansea 0. Speaking of perfect recoveries, that was definitely it for Bournemouth. Goals from Solanke with a brace and Anthony with a brace sealed the win, and yes, they were just brilliant here and showed why they've been so good this season and they're at the top of the league by themselves. As for Swansea, yeah, it's been disappointing, but hopefully it's just a blip, because you know they had a really solid season so far, so let's just see where it goes. But then moving on, it finished Cardiff 2, Huddersfield 1 at the Cardiff City Stadium. Siani with a goal in the 12th minute before goals from Kiefer Moore with a brace in the 74th and 92nd minute gave Cardiff a huge win, and they really needed that. Big result for them, and hopefully that will just give that team a bit more confidence. And Steve Morrison, I don't think he's in a bad position to take the full-time job there, but let's just see which way it goes. Huddersfield on 8th, they'll be so disappointed with that. But moving on, Coventry 3, Bristol City 2 was the score at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Yeah, the game swung at the end of the first half when Ian Matson got sent off for Coventry and Chris Martin scored a penalty. However, Gunnan equalised from the spot. Wyman put Bristol in front again before goals from Hare and Gooden in stoppage time gave Coventry the win. And Bristol City won it up with 10 men to lose 3-2. I mean, that's just dreadful, really. Big questions have to be asked. But for Coventry, what fighting spirit. But moving on, Luton 0, Stoke 1 was the score at Kenilworth Road. Brown with the only goal of the game in the 34th minute for Stoke gave them the win, and considering the dodgy run of form Stoke have been on recently, that's 2 wins on the trot now, so they'll be very pleased with that, unbeaten in 3, so they definitely have turned the corner. But as for Luton, it's just the inconsistency. Last 4 games, 1 loss, 1 lost. Yeah, it's just the inconsistency. We come used to expect it in the Championship, but I think they will be really disappointed with that. However, on the other hand, fantastic result for Stoke. Moving on, Millwall 1, Derby 1 was the score at the Den. Derby took the lead in the 44th minute, and they played well in the first half, deserved it, I thought, before Malone in the 45 plus 1 equalised almost immediately. Brian got sent off for Derby with 63 minutes to go, and with a tiring Derby squad, you really feared the worst, but in the end they did well to hold on to the point. But yeah, Derby reported another points deduction coming, although not as severe as many people thought. Yeah, it is looking tough for them now. Millwall will be disappointed not to win this. But moving on, Forest 3, Preston 0 was the score at the City Ground. Goals from Grabban, Colback and Grabban again sealed the win. And yeah, this was Forest back to the early days under Steve Cooper, really impressive after a winless spell of 3 games. For Preston, they'll be disappointed after 2 wins on the trot. They couldn't carry on the momentum and they were back to being really poor here, so that's definitely a concern. But hopefully it's just a blip and we'll be back to the Bournemouth Preston we saw on Tuesday after the break. But moving on, Peterborough 0, Fulham 1 was the score at the Western Home Stadium. And who scored for Fulham? You'll never guess it. It was Alexander Mitrovic. The man is just insane. What's that, 20 goals this season, something like that? And we're just at the beginning of November. It's just absolutely ridiculous, the form he's in. But for Fulham, yeah, it wasn't one of the best performances we've seen, certainly compared to midweek. But you know, a win's still a win. As for Peterborough, I think they will be pretty disappointed though. Moving on then to another weird managerial sacking. West Brom 1, Middlesbrough 1 was the score at the Hawthorns. Coburn gave Middlesbrough a lead in the 38th minute before Dean Garner scored in the 65th minute as an equaliser. For Middlesbrough, you'd have thought that had been a really solid point at West Brom. But yeah, Neil Warnock got sacked. Didn't see it coming, to be honest, but they clearly had a replacement lined up in Chris Wilder. That's a very good appointment. I'd probably say it's not great, and I'm not surprised Warnock's gone, but I am surprised by the timing of it. For West Brom, though, they were poor here. But moving on then to come back at St Andrews, Birmingham 1, Reading 2. Kick-off was delayed by half an hour due to some fault with the electrics, I think, but Scott Hogan scored in the 3rd minute before goals from Jamari Clark in the 70th and the 82nd minute gave Reading the win. And yeah, Young's going off the bench and scoring the goals, absolutely great for Reading, and with how depleted their squad is, to have him coming through, that's a big positive, and great result considering all the injuries they had. Birmingham, though, just dreadful. But moving on, Blackpool 1, QPR 1 was the score at Bloomfield Road. Willock with a goal in the 26th minute put QPR in front before Medine from the spot in the 54th minute equalised. And yeah, to be honest, this was quite an even game, to be honest. Not a lot of quality in it, one shot on target each. So yeah, Blackpool probably just staged it. I would say a draw was probably the fair result, and then both teams will be reliably satisfied. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. To like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts, comments, and finally on Twitter, link description over daily football news, and subscribe to the channel on the screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.